Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Wiggles, A Plain Truth, P. Mars, No Globe, Mark, and Dawn Treader. How are you all doing, gentlemen?
Quite fine. Thank you.
Lost a couple of the panel already?
Well, people just muted.
Fair enough. May just be a shorter show because both of the other shows got ended abruptly, which is a shame. One from internet problems.
Is this the third one?
It is the third one, which I wouldn't normally do, but both the other ones were cut short for various reasons.
Ah. So we're just talking about the even distribution of light on the so-called reflector we know as the moon.
Right.
Shouldn't just be just a freaking hot spot there. It's none.
Hello.
Hello.
Ah.
Me gathering up my thoughts from the last show in case people in the audience are worrying why it's such a quiet start. Unfortunately, my panel haven't backed me up while I'm doing all these various different things. They've just sat in silence, let the dead air continue. Damn them all.
So Nathan, I finally found out where you got that sample from. What a day, what a beautiful, I forget what he says, but that's Mad Max.
Right.
I love it because I'm like, where does he get that from? It's so great. And another one, what about that song? I think it goes, "Welcome to the show." If you
That's
don't
Issa.
know, then you don't know.
Yeah, that's Issa.
That's who?
Issa Mahalski.
Okay, I like that. If you don't know, then you don't.
Hello.
Hello.
You don't know.
Hey. See if I can add Anthony to
Thanks
this.
for adding me again.
Were you Skyped out of the main call or did you just drop from it?
I was sniped about halfway through the first.
Are we getting a bit of feedback from Adam?
Adam. Or is that me? I don't know.
I don't know. It could just be because, I don't know. Hopefully it'll dissipate.
Yeah, it seems to have gone away. Yeah, no, I got sniped halfway through the second show, I suppose. So I think
Fair
me and Mark Doxy as well.
Yo.
Hello.
Hey.
You're both live, just so you know, because I brought you in on Skype. I'm sure you're aware, but just so you are.
What happened at the end of the last show? I didn't realise. It ended weird.
I had an internet issue. It just completely lost. Like, that happens occasionally. I hate my internet service provider at the moment, if I'm honest. Does that a lot. Just completely drops. And if it doesn't come back within 5-10 minutes, or not 5-10 seconds, I can't rejoin it to the last show, which annoys me because it means there's no ending on the end of the show. There is on the backup, so the recording keeps going. The PC's fine, my camera's fine, you know, that's all good, so I can still do an outro. So when I upload it to the backup channel, it always still looks slick, but on the main channel, it just ends, which really annoys me because I want it to look nice, you know. I'm primarily a videographer on YouTube. I want my YouTube videos to look nice. So when I get an internet problem, it does really bug me. But there we go. Such is life.
So basically, their position. Are we carrying on as we were before?
Yeah.
So their position is that the mountain that we're looking at isn't the same mountain. He doesn't accept that it's rotated by a few degrees, and he thinks that that in some way negates the argument that we're looking at the same angle, at the same thing. I want to know what his actual explanation is, because it's all right saying it's not. I want to know what it actually is.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to ask him, and we didn't manage to get around to the point of him explaining what the hell he's talking about.
No, you're right. He didn't explain it because he was obfuscating. We didn't really focus on the main point. The main point is, if it's not what we're saying it is, in other words, seen and all of it, then you need to show us what we are looking at, and that's the bit that they've got to explain. And we didn't. Yeah, you're right. We didn't get to that point, but he's the one that's making the claim that it's not as per. But that's where we got to. We got to the lighthouse bit. Now, the bit in the snip, when I put the snip together, I did not include the lighthouse bit flashing because I assumed that everybody would accept that it was all of it. But it's dawned on me that that isn't the position. They think that the lighthouse at the bottom of the image being snipped off means that they can make the image not the whole mountain. So I think what I'll do is I'll add the lighthouse back to it so that they can see that it is the bottom. Because without the lighthouse flashing away, it creates the perception or the wiggle room to argue that it's not all of the mountain. So just to remove that away, I'm gonna go back to the video and get the screen out of it. So I'll be quiet for a minute or two while I go and get the frame that I'm after where the light flashes.
Fair enough. This is where hopefully Mark, No Globe, and Plain Truth chat amongst themselves while I'm doing things to keep the show going. We shall see. Come on, guys, you can do it.
Well, what I'm going to do actually, if I share my screen, Nath, you can basically watch me do this live, because this basically shuts the argument off that we're seeing all of it. So if I share my screen now, and all I'm trying to do here is get the clip. This is rapid successions of pause and unpause, because I'm just trying to get the bit where the light flashes.
We've just got a crazy looking screen at the moment.
You got a glitch screen.
Oh, okay. Let me.
Got glitch screen. Interestingly, that looks like the glitch screen when you get a blue screen. When I was there at the weekend,
oh, right, okay.
Similar glitch screen. So that is interesting.
Is it working now?
No, it's the same glitch that you get when you get a blue screen. It's like that funny, coloured multiple bar thing.
It looks like theater curtains.
Like your GPU's gone wrong.
Video game.
Like your GPU's gone wrong or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you're having some sort of video output.
That helps you figure out what's wrong with why your computer's probably crashing. I know this is, sorry, not very flat earth audience members. Thanks for tuning in. That's probably why your computer's crashing. There's something wrong with the graphics section of your CPU. How he's gone.
Oh, he's going to restart probably.
I bet you anything his computer's just crashed. I think that's helpful because that narrows down what's wrong with it. He's having blue screens, and I think it's because he's got something wrong with the graphics section on his CPU that he's just bought.
Ah, okay. He hasn't configured it properly yet.
No, I don't think so.
I was in the grocery store a minute ago, so I couldn't talk. But the one thing that I was noticing on Al K's video right at the beginning is it looks like the opening shot that he has of the island has the lighthouse. So my question is, where was that picture taken from? Because I don't think his video talked about it.
Well, wasn't his video like he showed a number of different angles or different elevations?
Can I? Why is Arwen removing me from the hangout twice?
I don't know. I didn't see that happen. Sorry, Dawn. You're in now. Don't worry about it, Dawn.
Is he here?
No.
Okay, I'll get him next time.
No, just don't worry about it. You're here now. Who cares?
Yeah, I am worried about it because it's not on, is it?
It's just one of those things, Dawn. But my point is the same. You're here now. Who cares?
Okay.
But back to my point, though, what I mean is on the very opening scene from Al K's video is you can see the lighthouse. So that seems to intimate that it's the same distance from the same shot, which would mean he actually has a line of sight to the lighthouse. And then he's showing us a different shot on a different day where there's obstruction. I tried to bring it up on his page, but he just blew it off.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know the feeling.
Well, that's what choice have they got, right?
Said you can't
Other than
see the wood for
blow
the
it off.
trees. That's what he gave me as a reply. And I was like, no, we can see the mountain without any obstruction from curvature. No woods and trees involved.
Well, today's Memorial Day, so shout out to all the soldiers that give our lives for freedom.
Oh,
Dear
who's joined?
me.
Hello.
Right, can you see my screen?
Let's have a little look. No, same thing. You've got a problem with the graphics section in your new chip.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, that's definitely the problem. If you're getting that screen, you got to look at your what is it called? I can't think of it.
The driver for the display adapter.
Yeah, exactly.
Could be that Ranty's having the exact same problem. Anyway, that's disappointing. Can you not join the Hangout? Were you kicked out of it?
The Hangout? Oh, no, I wasn't kicked out of it. No, I don't think so. I could probably... Do you want me to go in back through there?
Yeah, that's much easier for me.
It's not. Nathan, it's not easy at all.
I mean, how do you know you're not sat here producing this show?
I know that Skype and Discord are both easier for a debate show than YouTube Hangouts.
You haven't got the slightest idea what's in front of me, Dawn.
I have. I've seen your screen share and you on camera on that.
Right. So you've seen my second screen on screen, have you?
Yeah, it's not easier, is it?
Right.
But that's okay. We can disagree. Hi, Riley. Can you please unblock me on Skype? It's just disagreement of beliefs. I believe in refraction. You don't.
No, it's not about beliefs. It's about whether you can be intellectually honest enough to
I
accept
know,
that.
but we don't want to just sit here accusing each other of being intellectually dishonest.
No, you are being intellectually dishonest.
I think that about you. I still want to be your Skype friend.
I can't accept you being intellectually dishonest, and I can't accept your position. I'm not interested in. I'll debate. No,
I find it very hard with you guys too, but I still come back to talk.
Look, it's not. If you, I don't think that you understand the position on a ball.
We both find each other's point of view intellectually dishonest.
Anybody got a little violin?
The difference is that your position actually is intellectually dishonest.
Well, I feel that way about yours as well. But we don't have to get into it backwards and forwards because we could just go infinite loop, couldn't we? Of you're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar.
But the difference is I'm prepared to dismiss it, to forget about you because I realise that you're not realising this is wrong. You know what I mean? I'm prepared to cut ties with it on that basis.
Yeah, but I mean, I could have said that with some of the silly things you've said, but...
Am I screen sharing, Nath?
Yes, you are, yeah.
What I'm trying to get to, just to prove that this is actually the full mountain, trying to get the frame where the lighthouse flashes, because I didn't think this would actually be in dispute. I'm just trying to catch it when it flashes. There we go. Right, so if
There
I
you go.
screenshot
Cool.
that now...
Can you make it big? Just so we can see it on this screen just once in big while it's on screen. And I'll make my screen big nice as well.
All right, let me just get the snip that I want first.
Sure. And if you can just make his video full screen while I've got my page full screen. There we go. Can we all see this?
Basically, the light at the bottom is the lighthouse.
Screen. God damn it. It's just off screen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. There you go.
I can't make it full screen.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's good enough. That's good enough.
So the light that's flashing is the lighthouse that's got a focal height. That's the height above water of, is it? I think it's 69 feet or 70 feet, right? We're basically seeing down to the base in this picture. So as a reference point, we can use this picture because we know that we're seeing the floor, and we can put it in this one Open it with paint. Ah, shit. Open with, where is it? Open with paint. So we can put it into this one. And instead of this picture here, oops. Let's get rid of that. And then paste that. And then drop that to the, basically, if I just stick that one there next to it, basically you can see that like that part there, it's the same as that. It's the same mountain. So we're seeing down to the beat, we're seeing down to the floor. But the only difference on this picture, and this is not the exact same frame, obviously, but I've just snipped off the lighthouse part of it because I just took the mountain. I wasn't really interested in the lighthouse, but the lighthouse proves that we're seeing down to the beach. So basically, it's compare and contrast. If you accept that this is the whole mountain, then you also have to accept that this is the whole mountain, and then somehow this is just like this little peak top, the bit at the top. And that doesn't seem to be supported by the distances because there's only a difference of 8 miles between the two observations.
Your response, Dawn?
No. It wasn't really Dawn's point, it was the other guy's point.
Yeah. Is he here?
I can't remember who made the point. It was either Wiggles or the guy that kept breathing into his microphone.
Milu. Where's
See,
it gone?
you lot enjoy the math on this more than me. It's more important to you than me. So I'll just spoil the point if I try and. I trust the math, you know what I mean? That's my position. Not just the math. I just trust that nature allows this to happen on a globe.
Right, Dawn, do we agree that the total height of the mountain is 1,100 and about?
No, I can't agree without researching it myself, and I can't be bothered to put the energy into that.
Okay, well, I'll do it for you.
That's an intellectually dishonest position, and that's getting back to what we were talking about earlier.
No,
You just say, I just trust.
I don't care that much.
I'm not willing to do the research, right?
This is not a globe breaker without me looking at the math.
What's the name of it? Yeah, it is a globe breaker. What is the name of that mountain? Elsa.
AI.
Elsa Craig.
Elsa Craig. And I don't want the lighthouse, I just want Elsa Craig.
But how can you say that's an intellectually honest position, really? If you're saying, like, you just accept it on faith and that you're not willing to even look at the relevant research or the math that would be necessary to actually understand it.
Yeah, if there wasn't such a thing as refraction and looming, and we weren't this far into flat Earth, it might, mean more to me, but at this point it doesn't.
Yeah, but we haven't got to refraction and looming yet. But that comes later, right?
That's the globe explanation, isn't it?
But we've got to start
see a bit of it, and the rest loomed up.
We didn't see any of it. That's the point I'm trying to get you to all accept at the beginning.
Well, there's little disagreements about that.
Sorry, let me just summarise it just for Dawn. So, Dawn, based on Earth being a sphere, there should be Earth in the way of this mountain.
Right. All of it. Are you declaring we shouldn't see any of it if refraction didn't exist?
Doesn't matter. We're seeing all of it, mate. It's all there. If you want to claim that the bottom's obscured a little bit, I'll accept that. If you want to accept that, the top. If you want to accept that on the geometric maths that you say I accept the maths says that we should only see the top of it, then that doesn't work out, does it, Dawn?
Right, let me have Dawn. Let me have Dawn on this, because whilst he's on, I wanted to get Dawn because I want you to go. I want you to agree with me, Dawn, that the maths is the way your model tells me it is, so that we both get to the beginning.
No, I can't do that. I'm not the guy for that.
No, hang on. It's not difficult.
I don't trust the globe's math, let alone yours, to be honest.
I'm not going to do any maths. I'm just going to get the starting point before the maths. Do we agree that the mountain is 1,100 feet bar 9 feet? That's Elsa Craig. And this is
I
what
agree. Wikipedia it says that.
Okay, so going on 1,109, then we can validate that by checking it on Google Earth. Yeah. See if it's similar. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the guy for this.
Yeah, but I want you to at least get to the point where we can agree the height of the mountain. It's not that difficult to do that.
I've watched you argue with this over the weekend. I was with Anthony, Dawn, and back and forth, you and him on Skype. Now you're like, I'm not the man for this. What do you mean? Why are you arguing about it?
I'm not the man for the math, to go over the math. We're just arguing about if it's a good flat Earth evidence or not. That's what we're arguing about.
That's undisputed. We see the whole mountain at 30 plus miles.
Not
so yeah, it's
undisputed.
an excellent flat Earth proof. That's undeniable to anybody with eyes. So I don't really understand where you're coming from in that regard. But yeah, it's ultimately... Let's just get rid of Beeley. Yeah, it's good flat Earth evidence. What part of that don't you understand? It doesn't match with any of the maths, Dawn.
It does if you include refraction.
It doesn't if you
Right,
include
but we haven't
refraction.
got to refraction yet. We haven't got to
hold on,
refraction
let me just
yet.
tell him this,
Explain
though. Even if you include refraction, it doesn't match the maths. Yeah? You want to add an extra 100 feet on for refraction, fine. I don't mind if you want to go that route and say you should see 300 feet on a sphere. Right, we don't see 300 feet. We're seeing basically all of it. Yeah, you could argue that right close to the ground you lose a tiny bit at the bottom, but basically we're seeing all of it, Dawn. Doesn't match the refraction maths either.
I'll admit it's weird to have the bottom cut off with obstruction and the whole island.
You can call it weird. We call it excellent evidence of the obvious and observable nature of the flat plane we live on.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Well, you don't have to. You can just say it's weird.
Don, can I ask you, why do you accept that refraction
happier
could produce that effect? Based on what evidence do you accept that that would be possible?
Sorry?
I said, why do you accept that refraction would be able to explain what we're seeing there? Like, based on what evidence do you accept that as an explanation?
I don't know of evidence. What evidence to give you that why I believe refraction? I believe it because many people have shown it.
Yeah, that's the
including you guys.
Ad populist.
No, but that's you're saying that that's a just so story, right? You're saying, well, if we're seeing it, then there must be something, and then, well, it must be refraction.
Yeah,
but
I'm 36. I've lived in nature 36 years. I know nature's variable in many, many ways and hard to explain. So I think it is weird that refraction makes us see things which we shouldn't if it didn't exist.
Is there any actual evidence that refraction could produce that kind of effect?
I could Google evidence for refraction now, but I'm sure you guys have already done that.
Yeah, but hang on. Right, Dawn, listen. All I want you to agree at this point is that the height of the mountain is 1,100 feet, and that before we get to refraction, none of it should be there. If we can agree that that's the starting point...
If you can get a glober to agree with that, I'll agree with it.
You are the glober.
I know, but I'm not the man, I've already said.
So, right, all right. Do we agree? Do we agree that the height of the mountain is 1,100 feet plus 9 or whatever it was?
Keep asking him, and he keeps saying he won't agree to it unless he can sheep it off someone else who agrees to it first. He's literally disclaiming that he wants to be a sheep.
You can put it like that if you want. I just came on to try and sort of say sorry for shouting at the end of the last one.
I'm a little bit upset for you, Dawn. I now actually genuinely feel sorry for you.
Right, yeah, I know that feeling, because I have that about people on the internet too.
Yeah. But you literally just told the audience that you were happy to accept what any other glober came up with as an explanation, but you weren't prepared to use your own mental capacity to actually work out an explanation for yourself. You just literally want the consensus opinion to be offered to you so you can represent it to us. That's so sad.
You're twisting it a bit.
No, that's exactly what you've just said. That's literally what you just said.
The buck.
No, it's not.
You're passing the buck on the evidence.
Dawn, why can't you agree the height of the mountain?
I agreed that bit because I understand how to read a Wikipedia page, but I don't understand the refraction calculator or any of that, so I don't want to go into it. So you have an advantage over me. I don't understand it.
Yeah, so why do you accept
I don't trust flat earthers math either. I have to be honest about that.
But this is your math. This is not our math. This is your math.
I don't trust you to use our math properly.
Right, it's 38 point something miles. He was literally a foot off the water, okay? Because he's so close, because he is at the water's edge, the drop value is what we use. And that alone tells you...
Flat Earth has taught me to not trust any math fully, 100%. So I realise math can be used to lie.
I don't understand that statement. Flat Earth has taught you that?
Yes. Flat Earth taught me to question many things, many types of trust.
But you accept the math when it supports your position?
No, I believe that they've got the math right. Because it is a globe, like it's hard to say. It's like.
So then, why do you have it? Why do you think it's a globe at all? Shouldn't you be more agnostic about the whole question if that's your position?
I am more agnostic now after flat Earth. I didn't even ever think there was a question for 35 years.
All right. Well, that's something.
That's very interesting.
I think
but there's enough evidence for me to keep with that belief. I mean, every day I hope for you guys to show me something like mind-blowing that makes me question it more. But this is not. This is not.
Yeah, but hang on, you have it right now, and you simply
refraction calculator in front of you that will explain it.
Yeah. No, and I'm not dealing with the refraction. I'm dealing with the geometry side of it.
No, but this is part of nature. This is the reason you've decided. Oh, we can see the island, but you know refraction exists or is claimed to exist.
Right, but we're not talking about refraction. We're only talking about the geometry.
But I'm not going to understand any of the math enough to agree that we shouldn't see any of it. I'll just be taking your word for it.
So you've been honest enough to say that you would accept it if somebody like the Rumpus said it was done in a way that if it was explainable, right?
If they just agreed with you that we shouldn't see any of it without refraction. Just someone that I trust a bit more who isn't trying to debunk the model. This is what I mean.
We don't need any of this to debunk the model. We just ask for proof of art and then all have a good laugh. So
there's no proof of art, you know that.
No, Dawn, please let me tell you this. We are actually humouring you here. We're saying, yeah, go on, beg the question. Say it's a sphere, then you've already got radius. Yeah. But we're humouring you. If we were doing what you are now saying we're doing and being of a position to debunk it, we're trying to help you in your crap argument and belief. Yeah?
You are trying to debunk it.
Right, no, that would be simple. All I'd say is, what's your scientific evidence for R, Dawn? Do you have any?
No, I don't have proof.
Right, that's the end of that debunking. Globe debunked. 0 scientific evidence for R, and people like Charles and Rumpus will be put on the ropes by me time and time again by asking them that simple question. It's easy.
But they've got lots of evidence.
And then they chuckle and stutter and say my name. Well, Nathan. Nathan. Yeah, that's what people like Charles will do when I ask them why they're teaching an unproven fact. Right, Dawn?
It's very unfair to shout at these people like you do.
I know. When they're teaching children unproven information, that to me is absolutely disgusting. And Charles should be absolutely ashamed of himself, in my humble opinion. Now, that's just my opinion, but I'm going to assert it on my show, Dawn.
He doesn't decide the curriculum. He's just a teacher. I agree with you.
He's just he's a victim in all this, really, isn't he, Dawn? He's just a victim in this, isn't he?
You're just saying
he's just a victim in all this. Yeah, he's got no control of his own free will and destiny, right? He's controlled by another person. No, we all have our own God-given free will. We can all do exactly as we choose and see fit to do. He sees fit to lie to children, and I will shout at him for it, and he'll laugh and stutter, because he's a disingenuous liar.
Teaching the globe's only maybe a tiny...
Teaching a lie. It's teaching a lie, Dawn. Now, you might justify it with your belief. You're honest enough to say it's a belief. He thinks it's true, even though in the same breath he'll say it's unproven.
Right. Yeah, I know that was weird. That was weird.
Disgusting. Not weird. Not like this anomaly's weird if you think you've got a fantasy ball in your life. Not weird. Disgusting. Yeah? That's what Charles is. Dishonourable, disgusting, should be ashamed of himself for teaching lies to children.
We can't scientifically prove it, but it's true.
Oh, right. So you're going to just parrot what Charles said? You really are a sheep. Yeah, just because Charles used that shit defence doesn't mean you'll get away with it, Dawn. Yeah? Just saying that it's true with no scientific evidence when I've already told you and you've already accepted that there isn't any scientific evidence of it just shows that you're a sheep. It doesn't prove what he's teaching is true. It's not.
Nathan, he's agreeing.
I think it should be taught as this is what we think because of all of this evidence.
Well, he doesn't do that though, does he? You've just told me it's not fair to shout at these people. Now you're agreeing with me.
I agree with you philosophically, but I think you roast them a bit hard, that's all.
Right, well, I don't care if you see it from a philosophical standpoint or not. He's teaching lies to children. That is abhorrent. And he will get told off by me.
But he could say the same thing about you.
I'm not teaching children, dumbass.
Well, okay, not children. People on the internet.
Oh, right. People with their own God-given free will. Believe what you like, Dawn. Audience members, believe whatever you like. If you want to succumb to a Ball Earth fantasy, then that is your prerogative. Do not feel in any way that I want to assert the obvious and observable nature of our reality upon you should you have a presuppositional fantasy about a ball Earth. You're all free to believe whatever you like. Okay, Dawn, is that clear?
On flat Earth, don't you?
Believe what you like. Don't believe liars like Charles when they tell you in the classroom that the Earth is a sphere and it's true because I tell you it is true. That makes Charles a disgusting man. Right? Let's make no bones about it. If you're in the audience, Charles, I hope you feel ashamed of yourself, having disclosed that it's not scientifically valid. It is not proven. It is not true.
Nathan, let's concentrate on what we can deal with, because Math's not here. He's gone. Dawn is here.
Yeah,
and we have two values. No, you don't have to do any maths. The maths is all done. All I'm asking you is to agree the facts. And when we put the facts in,
with your maths. I can't.
I'm not asking you to do maths, and I'm not doing any maths. All I'm doing is what your maths tells us is the shape of the Earth. And all I want you to do is agree that the facts that are going into the maths are accurate. If we can do that, then we can argue over the interpretation. And if your interpretation is I don't know, then that's fine. But I want you to agree the height. You've got that so far. I want you to agree the distance, and it's 39.05 miles. Can we agree the distance is 39.05 miles? Yes or no?
No. I've got no idea. I don't want to do the maths.
Why? Is it because you're not going to like the result?
No, it's because I find it boring and I don't think it really presents or explains reality to me.
But this is but why are you in the flat Earth argument then?
This is the basis of your religion.
I like the philosophy.
This is the basis of your religion. The presupposition used is the fundamental basis of your belief.
I can get Grim on if you want, but he says he'll get kicked straight away.
Dawn,
to be honest,
what part of this aren't you getting? You're saying the maths doesn't interest you. The R value is the presupposition that your entire religion is based on.
Dawn, not really. That's
did somebody say my name?
Boop. Oh, he would have had the conversation with you properly.
I don't care. If you can't answer these simple questions, Dawn, this is the intellectual dishonesty that you're blocked because of. It's not difficult.
People told me not to be a pussy and just let you block me, but I like to have friends who disagree. It's quite a healthy thing.
Yeah, and I like having you as a friend, but I don't like you having simple cognitive dissonance because you know that the maths is so badly against you that you can't accept it.
I don't like you coming with all this evidence against where I live, my paradigm.
That's cognitive dissonance, though.
Wrong to me.
That's cognitive dissonance. You don't like me coming on with evidence that against.
Can't we go back to me showing you globe evidence and you telling me it's not good enough?
No, I want you to tell me why I want you to just basically tell me that I've got the values correct. The distance is 39.05 miles, and I've put it accurately into the thing. So all I want you to agree is that where has it gone? Metabunk. So at 39.05 miles, and he's a foot off the water, the drop value is 1,016 feet. Now let's just go down a little bit. So basically, because he's on the water, the drop value for where that lighthouse should be 1,016 feet behind the curve of the Earth. Can you agree to that based on this model that you guys accept?
I'm not agreeing to any of it.
Why? Is it because you don't like it because it should be gone?
No, because it's past the discussion I want to have. I don't think it proves a flat Earth.
This is cognitive dissonance and therefore dishonest.
Well, I feel you present that with flat Earth. Well, I think it's dishonest.
I'm going to leave you to
on screen.
I'm going to leave you to it. See what I'm doing now? I'm going to click the leave call. I'm going to leave because you won't answer the questions. So have a nice day.
I'm going to apologise that I didn't, and I'm going to leave too.
Anthony, don't leave. Just hang on.
Still got Mark and Plain Truth in the hangout.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. It makes no sense. It's like almost in a sense when someone says they plead the fifth, but the only reason why they're pleading the fifth is because they know it's going to be incriminating.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I mean, that's the only reason. It just doesn't make any sense why it's such BS, because he's not stupid.
Sorry to do this to you, plain truth.
Exactly.
Can you just explain what pleading the... I know what this means, but for the audience's benefit, there may be UK audience members or even Australian that don't know what pleading the fifth actually means.
You want me to explain it?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, in a courtroom situation, you've got the option of either testifying or not testifying, and it is referred to as pleading the fifth, which refers to the Fifth Amendment. And so if you choose not to speak, you claim that right not to speak, and it's called pleading the fifth. But very often, if you don't plead the fifth, it then leaves the question like, why won't you simply speak the truth? Because if it's the truth, you don't have anything to be afraid of. But if you don't speak the truth, that leads us to believe, you know, that if you say what we expect you to say, it is going to be damaging to your innocence. That do okay?
Sure. I think it's extends slightly further out to it may bring harm on your family or something along those lines as well. But yeah,
well,
in a
yeah, but in
sense.
this situation, it's just a general argument's sake.
Sure. Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay.
But yes, in essence, Dawn's pleading the fifth.
Well, like we bring, they're at the crucible and they just won't step through. They won't make they won't have the final argument, right? They won't commit to to what would bring closure to the situation. But I see that as a victory for our side of the argument.
Me too.
Massively.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever come across anyone from our side not wanting to express the facts. I don't think anybody I've ever come across is reticent to say this is this and that's that. The only time I've ever seen it is when the heliocentric model is going to be compromised.
Yeah. Yeah, I see a lot more willingness of flat earthers to risk their point of view and to risk their argument, and a lot more intellectual honesty on our side, very clearly. And if we can't resolve the argument, then at the very least we can resolve the argument about who's more willing to take a sober look at the evidence and treat it with intellectual honesty, treat it with real rigor, and not dodge questions and not avoid and not conflate and obfuscate.
At one point he said I would only accept it if it had been presented as globe earth evidence. And I'd just like to point out that the evidence we were looking at absolutely was presented as globe earth evidence by Al-K. Massive kudos. Thank you for the flat earth evidence. Exactly like Tim Osman. Brilliant. Thank you, Al-K.
Well, and to say something like that, like I would only accept this if it was presented as globe earth evidence, that's the intellectual dishonesty I was referring to. Like why don't we just look at the evidence and see what the evidence tells us? Why would we even look at it in those terms of globe or flat earth evidence, right? It's just evidence.
Yes, indeed. Just evidence. Getting trolled a little bit, so hang out or go on mute for a little bit.
Sorry, what did you say there, Nathan?
We just have to cover the slight silences we will get as the hangout gets a bit trolled.
Yeah, well, I think that I enjoyed what just transpired here. I think it's very telling, and it's just interesting to see, as this argument gets more and more, as it advances further and further,
I guess I just left because the conversation, I couldn't do the math thing with Riley, so it was annoying.
I'm just going to call you out on that, Don.
You're misrepresenting me. After I left, you're saying I'd only accept it if it was presented as globe evidence. That's misrepresenting what I said. I said I need someone...
Yeah, I'm just going to have to mute the hangout if there's trolley trolls, I'm afraid. It's just you and me, unfortunately, Nummy, while this goes on. And then I'll unmute them when it stops.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what Dawn's saying is we're misrepresenting his argument somehow.
Yeah, I don't see how he could be construing it as that. I mean, we're asking him questions, right? We're asking him to explain. And I think what Plain Truth was about to say is that he doesn't really buy that Don Treader is incapable of comprehending the very simple mathematical analysis that
more direct than most people explaining my beliefs.
Yeah, but not in this situation. You're avoiding something.
Situation more direct than most people.
Not regarding the question that Sleeping Warrior was bringing.
Trust his math.
Yeah, I'll just keep them muted till that stops, I think.
Are they just, people are just muting them continuously?
Nah, just a troll joining and playing music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't mind talking with just you while the hangout gets kept on mute. That's fine.
Thanks.
Yeah. I think you're right. It's very, very rewarding when things like that happen. So I don't mind keeping them on the ropes while they obfuscate continually. I know Anthony was more keen to actually go through the evidence again and hold them to account on various different aspects of it. But with me, I'm just like, nah, I don't mind going back to the basics of this and saying, no, you don't get to beg the question here. You know, we'll get to beg the question because we're allowed. We're allowed to show where your model fails. But every time you presuppose that it is the model, I'll just jump all over you. And if you think that's harsh, well, it's good fun for us.
Yeah. Well, they think the body of science gives them a license to make presuppositional arguments, which is absurd, right?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you. It's just we've got a troll that's joining the account constantly to just play music. So unfortunately, we have to keep a limited audio line with the hangout while it happens, just to keep things nice and calm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's another baller tactic, right? Is to just prevent the conversation from advancing by just creating a disturbance. Just shouting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one of those things. I don't mind, whoever's doing it thinks they're achieving something, and it's like we just get another opportunity to point out the type of obfuscation we deal with, and it just means that there's a two-way conversation between me and Nummy, while the hangout gets continually muted and doesn't get to say anything, which is a real shame. But there we go.
Yeah. Well, they're achieving, showing what they've got and showing what they're capable of in terms of actually dealing with this subject, which is not it's not a complicated one. It should be pretty readily available to any adult of, even average intellect, I would say.
Yeah, but I think we did have, across the 3 shows, although it's a pity it was 3 shows, we had enough, obfuscation and denying of the point, pleading the fifth, all that kind of stuff. We had enough of it to show what they're really all about on the Globe side of this argument, which is great for me. I think it's wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a whole point unto itself. And we've got this, amazing record of how this conversation has evolved over time, which is, who knows of what value this could be in the future to those who might want to re-examine this case, generally speaking.
Indeed.
And this is going to be here forever, hopefully, right? I mean, I guess I don't think you ever intend to take it down.
No, absolutely not. I get really annoyed when people ask me to take down videos for one reason or another. I normally refuse and just say no, which normally ends up in an argument. But yeah, I want to keep it all up. When there's things that are mistakes that we have made, I've got enough humility to know that everyone makes mistakes and it's no detriment on my, credibility, because we've made a mistake. So I don't care. I want people to see the progression in terms of how we've come to be in a position where we can say to someone like the Rumpus or someone like Charles, we'll just prove our. And then they fall to pieces and stutter like nutters because they know that we know the inside and out of that argument.
Yeah. It's the scientific process.
Yeah. So when someone like Dawn says, I've got scientific proof of this, and you go, okay, well, let's go through the scientific method. Well, physicists say, it's like, no, you don't get to do that, unfortunately. You know, you can have all the trolls in the world join and play music, but we'll still point out over and over again that basically the globe is just a massive lie.
Yeah.
I've rejoined because whilst the trolls are going on in the back chat, I just want to take the moment and just say the reason Dawn doesn't want to deal with the maths is because it's so bad for him that he can't accept that it shouldn't be there on a sphere. And that's before refraction, right? Refraction is where the ballers tend to bring things back as much as they want. They bend light out of all proportion. But we didn't even get to that point. Dawn wasn't able to accept that the stuff shouldn't be there geometrically because of the sphere that we're supposed to live on. Couldn't accept that. And he simply refused. And it wasn't even maths. It was the geometry on their model. And all he had to accept, the observer height and the distance, and it does it all for us. So it's not as if I can manipulate that. It's set in stone. If we live on a sphere, it's a fixed size. And that lighthouse was so far below the horizon and so far below the curve that he couldn't even accept that. And that's the reason why I had to block him. Because if you're not going to be intellectually honest, I can't have a conversation with you. Even if we disagree at the end of the conversation, I can't have the conversation. Because you guys expect us to concede stuff if we get it wrong. That's fine. If I get a claim wrong, yeah, it'll be conceded and we'll move on from it. You'll laugh about it for a couple of weeks and I'll be an idiot. But if you guys can't make the same concession when presented with evidence that might look bad for you, then that intellectual honesty is not going both ways. And it's that reason. It's for that reason why Dawn is in the blocked and Ruhif as well. Because they're not being intellectually honest. There's a difference between being wrong, which we can accept because we all get things wrong. We all make mistakes. And I'm not perfect. I make mistakes too. However, it's one thing to be wrong. It's another thing to be literally dismissing evidence that's contrary to your opinion for whatever reason because it looks terrible in this case.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep. It's a good day to be a flat earther, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it's a great day. But it does actually feel like Dawn's died, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it does seem like the wind has gone out of his sails, so to speak.
But he was still confessing to be like a bit more agnostic about his approach, and even saying things like, well, flat earthers taught me to be a bit more questioning about this stuff, so I don't automatically accept the globe maths. So in one breath he's saying that, but then in the next breath he'll say things like, well, I do actually accept that the maths will work if someone else presents it to me. It's frustrating, John. I'm trying to get you into the conversation by unmuting when there is a gap.
Well, if Riley hadn't blocked me just for believing...
Sorry, Dawn.
Well, can you not bring Dawn back in on Skype? Somebody, just so that we get Dawn in.
I don't have him on Skype.
What I will do for the benefit of the discussion, I will unblock Dawn. You can bring him in on Skype, and then we can leave the troll arguing in the chat with the text in the back chat. Does that work?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't actually know how you unblock somebody.
I've never blocked anybody before.
Me neither. I don't tend to block people. More power to
Manage
anybody else who does.
Contents. Right.
Dawn,
I found Dawn. Unblock Dawn. Dawn. So that should be him unblocked. Now if I search for... Right, here he is. So if I now add this guy to this call.
So this is ridiculous.
Say again, Ranty?
I say this is really ridiculous.
What, the trolling?
Yeah.
It's bad for you in the hangout, eh? I actually managed to catch him. He'll just join with another account in a minute, but we've got a few minutes where you guys can talk. Mark, Plain Truth and Ranty. Thanks for being here, Ranty.
Well, I went to Southport today.
Cool.
See if I could see anything.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, Dawn.
Right.
Ranty, let's come to Southport in a sec, because we're right in the middle of something with Dawn.
All right, okay.
That's all right.
We will come back to you.
Well, if you get it up on screen, Ranty, I'll have it presenting so we can at least see.
This is what I told you. It's not easier on YouTube because of all this.
Out what's there.
Fair enough.
It is there.
Yeah, fair enough. I understand, Ranty. So, you know, we will get an opportunity at some stage. So.
Yeah, basically, I just want to argue. I believe the globe because of all the other evidence, not this one point.
Dawn's not going to let you, Ranty.
Sorry, Ranty.
What's all the other evidence? What's your number one evidence that supports the globe?
Well, hang on. This is being obfuscated, though. Let's not do the obfuscation. Let's just deal with this one. And if it's the case that you simply reject it and refuse to accept it, then say that you.
But please don't try go over the math. For this argument, I'll agree it should all be gone, even though.
Right.
Okay.
So then.
Even though I don't want to fully.
So then I'm asking, what supersedes that, right? Like, if that's the case, then what is, like, if you think there's something that would supersede that evidence, then what is that?
What do you mean supersedes?
It would be refraction.
Yeah, refraction is the argument. And I consider that quite big refraction if you're saying 200, 300 feet.
Yeah, I would consider it to be huge.
Yeah, okay.
I would ask like, what's the evidence? I would ask even more, like, what's the evidence that refraction could do that at all? Is there?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I haven't got it. I can give you YouTube videos of people refracting stuff through prisms or glass. You can see the sun refracting what they say through the atmosphere in different ways. There is evidence of it, but I mean, you can't make a model of a mountain being refracted over water, can you? Like small scale to show someone.
But at least we've got movement now in that you've accepted that the mountain should be gone. That's the first point.
But I've accepted it just for the argument, so we don't have to go over it in a loop.
Well,
you can understand I'd be comfortable if a few of the globers said, yes, that whole island is refracted. We shouldn't see it if refraction didn't exist.
Right, so why don't you now go back to one of the globers that you trust, whoever? I don't care who.
Well, I tried to bring it up the other day, and they've heard so many of these arguments that they're not bothered anymore. They're just arguing with Chemo over weird stuff every day, and Debbie. So I tried to share it with them, and no one's that bothered.
Well, but the problem with that is you interpret them as not being bothered, and we interpret them as they've got nothing to respond to it.
Yeah, I know. I do try. Some of them do like it, but it's hard to catch the people, when they're in the mood.
Well,
I'll agree on it for the discussion, even though I'd be more comfortable if someone else agreed as well.
Well, for the sake of the discussion, I'll just the common courtesy. I'll just say, right. I don't know. What should I? Because ultimately, you're going to argue that refraction.
If half of it should be gone, is it kind of? It just means that we can't call refraction huge. We can call it half huge or whatever.
Well, that's where we have. That's where somebody like the Rumpus, I would agree and allow that the Rumpus would be the one to explain how the refraction works. I wouldn't expect you to explain it if you admit that the maths isn't your strong point, and that's acceptable. Right. But all I wanted you to accept was, according to the geometric sphere of the size that they give us, none of that mountain is visible. And I know you've said that it's for the sake of discussion, but it is geometrically the case that none of that mountain is visible because of the geometry of the Earth that we live on. And what you really should do is get somebody that you trust to consider whether that statement is factually correct or not. Because if it is correct geometrically, then we have an awful lot of refracting to do. It's not the fact that
I trust the globers. It's just more people agree from both sides. I'm more comfortable agreeing that's how it should be.
Right. Okay. Well, there's more globers, right?
Yeah.
There's 10,000 globers to maybe 50 flat earthers, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot more globers. So if you're going to go with the consensus of the majority, then
if we count the local ones online, it might be 50-50. I've got no idea.
Why hasn't Don got any backup? Sorry to interrupt, but the link's out public. There's people watching, and all we're getting is trolley trolls joining. And no one's joining to actually present any decent arguments. So
well, it's funny because let me put it.
That's a sign.
Let me put it this way. Yeah, it is a sign. And what do you think the sign is?
Well, you can interpret it how you like, but I think it's got silly. That's the best way I can explain.
No, it's not got silly, mate. This is the reason why it's being hammered at the minute trolley is because you guys need to explain an awful lot of bendy light to explain this. And
no, it's not that.
Don't forget,
some globers are shaking in that way, but I've never met someone who's expressed that fear.
Well, nobody's able to explain the Isle of Man thing 700 feet behind the curve, and Rumpus said a month ago that he was going to release it when I released the evidence. And at this moment, it's still outstanding. It hasn't been debunked. There's loads of outstanding.
I do appreciate where you've got to in Flat Earth. Now, if you keep going and you've got 500 feet, 1,000 feet that shouldn't be seen at all, and refraction's got to
we have got 1,000 feet.
Explain these bigger and bigger observations.
We have got 1,000 feet. You're looking at it.
I mean, everyone's going to have a breaking point eventually. If you just keep refraction keeps explaining bigger and bigger observations.
But you just said I appreciate where you've got to, and if you could carry on going to get to 1,000 feet, but we have 1,000 feet.
Yeah, I don't know. I just made the numbers up. I don't know where you've got to.
Yeah, but I mean, the 1,000 feet that we're now at, how much further do we have to keep pushing it and going? I mean, don't forget we've only got P900s, right? We don't have.
I don't mean
we don't have huge telescopes.
Mean from whatever should be below the horizon is now above, and you can measure that in height from sea level.
And we can. That's what I was trying to get to do with you.
So you've got refraction 1,000 feet of land that shouldn't be there.
Correct.
Yeah, but you factor in the lean and the tilt and the drop and everything as well. This is why I don't like to go into it, because you've got loads of different ways of making the numbers.
No. We're using your maths to see what should be seen and what shouldn't be seen.
I mean, 1,000 feet from sea level to the peak of a mountain or land or skyline or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite a lot. I'd call that huge refraction if you've got that.
That's right. And that's what we have. That's why we're trying to get you. That's why I'm trying to get you to accept, or at least
even this isn't enough to break my globe belief. 1,000 feet of missing thing. It might be for some people, but I don't know.
Dawn, none of the mountains should be seen geometrically, right? It can only be brought back if you're going to believe and argue that refraction is a thing. The only way that can be is that it's a mirage or it's a hologram, and that's where Nathan starts shouting the word fantasist.
Yeah, well, it's mad. There's lots of things about nature that are mad. You lot say the sun's mad, isn't it? You don't understand it. You don't where it goes, or that. Like Owen says the moon could be a hologram. This is all ways where you say I don't understand something because it's mad.
What about this 1,000-foot mountain? 1,000 foot.
That's a lot of refraction.
Yeah. And do you know how much refraction can and can't move? It's negligible.
Know. Basically, negligible. Anything about refraction.
I've got you know that the that paper that I cite that's got the word negligible in it, and people don't like it because it's done by the school kids.
Yeah.
I have another paper from this time. It's from I can't remember who it's from. I'll check it in a sec. But basically, it's another paper that says the effects of refraction are negligible. But in this occasion, it's not talking about it in the same scale that the previous paper was talking about it in. It's not using a different scale altogether. And I'll be honest, I don't understand the scale. But the conclusions they give are that the effects of refraction are negligible again. But it's a second citation for saying that refraction of light is negligible, and the reason why it is.
Rumpus got kicked. He's saying we should see the mountain with refraction. This is what the Globers are arguing. It's totally consistent with the globe model. So your argument is we don't believe refraction because it's silly or whatever, and you can't prove it in the way we want you to. Which is fair enough.
All right. So I'll unblock the Rumpus, and we'll get Rumpus in. And let's see what he's got to say about it.
Yeah, not that I want him on. I just, he's that statement.
I don't want him on, but I want to hear what he's got to say, because if he's saying that we should be seeing this, then let's hear what he's got to say. The Rumpus, unblock, done. So if we now, there we go. Add to call. The Rumpus, where are you? The Rumpus. So the Rumpus is added. Let's see if we can get him in. And the first question...
Talking, I'm glad I calmed down a bit.
Rumpus.
Yeah.
Welcome. We've just had Dawn concede for the sake of discussion that the whole mountain should be behind the curve of the
He
earth.
was just trying to shut you up. He didn't want to. He wasn't conceding that at all. He was just trying to be conducive to.
I accept, but now that you're here, I'm going to ask. Yeah, without refraction. But now that you're here, I'm going to ask you the same question, and maybe perhaps you could do it either, not for the sake of discussion. Do you agree, yes or no, that the whole of that mountain should be geometrically behind the shape of the Earth without any atmosphere? Yes or no?
Just geometrically.
So that's a yes.
Hold on. Give me a bloody chance. Jesus Christ. Right, I've just got in here. I've put an observed height of 1 meter. The distance is 62 kilometers.
No, not 1 meter. Not 1 meter. 1 foot.
It is 1 meter. I had a look at the video, and it's 1 meter. It's not 1 foot. So you're wrong about that.
It's 3.3 feet. Right.
So I'm putting in 1 meter as the observed height because I've had a look at the video.
That's intellectually dishonest. That is
I've had a look at the video, and he's on his knees and he's kneeling up. How tall are you from your knees to your eyes, Anthony? And it's more than a bloody meter, even if you're kneeling down, you idiot.
Yeah, but
so it's a meter. So it's a meter, and the distance is 62.
That meter?
You don't think from your knees to your eyes is a meter?
No, not at all.
Let's
go back to the video. Let's see what he actually did. So sharing. Hang on.
Remember,
I can't share it though. And also now you're on Skype. I can't share your screen, can I?
You've got confused with the mountains again. You've misunderstood the shapes. You've got one picture of the complete mountain, and then you're comparing with another one that is not the complete mountain. You can't even recognize the difference between two different shapes. Right, it's unbelievable how idiotic you're being.
Let's not run before we can walk. Let's keep at the beginning so that we can agree up to the point where we disagree. Okay? What were we saying, Nathan? Did you say I can or can't be screen shared?
No, your screen can't be shown on Skype. It's just not functioning.
I could share it.
So the part in the video where he's sat on the thing is, I'll give you the timestamp. 2 minutes.
Okay.
2 minutes 30. But hang on, if I can't share it, you can't share it either.
No, it's because you've got a functional problem with your computer,
isn't it? It's your stupid screen's not working. The screen, you're not. It's your graphics card is not working with Skype properly. So that's the problem. It's your problem, not bloody Skype's. Or Skype's interacting with your graphics thing. So I could share it, no doubt. So if you give me a moment.
Is that tape measure? Do you know how tall Al-K is?
Yeah, he's 5'6", I think.
Right. And a guy at 5'6" who's crouched on his knees is not going to be a meter off the floor. He's going to be. Can we compromise 1.5 foot?
No, it's not one. Do you know 1.5 feet is just 1.5 of your feet, Anthony? That's nowhere near how high he's up. He's got his whole chest to his eyes, you idiot. That's bloody. Yeah. And that's about 3 feet from your base of your bloody pelvis to your eyes. I mean, what sort of moron are you?
Sorry, does the height of 3 feet or 1 feet bring back this mountain from behind the curve of the Earth?
Right. Well, my figures for if we assume a meter, this gives the geometric obscured, just the geometry, and we know, and that means we're pretending there's no atmosphere when, of course, we know there is an atmosphere. But so it's absolutely irrelevant. But we'll do it anyway because Anthony seems very keen on it. The obscured for 1 meter observation with 62 kilometers, which I think is the distance from Largs RNLI base to the Isla, whatever it's called, Craig. That gives a vertical obscured in meters of 267. The Isle of Craig is 320 odd meters. That means even geometrically, there is 60 meters visible. But if you add in refraction,
no, that's not right.
Yes.
That is not right. So your distance, what distance in miles were you using? 39.05.
62 kilometers.
Wait a sec. Metric. Well, it should be 62.8 kilometers. If you're going to use it.
Okay, I could stick. Okay, I'll stick in 62.8 then. I thought it was 62. Okay.
We still haven't got your screen, by the way. I've just got. Hold on, Anthony. I've just got your screen at the moment. Can you stop sharing?
Oh, my screen share is working.
No, you're talking about me, are you?
Yeah, I've just got Anthony up.
Oh, it's just
to be honest, it doesn't make any difference. Just forget the screen sharing for your own benefits. It doesn't matter. The audience can't see it. Sorry, Ranty and the guys in the Hangout. Just carry on as you were.
Right. So hold on. Let me just put in 62. Anthony's keen on me putting in 62 point. Let me just go and check on Google Earth. I just did that just now. Let me just go and check what the actual value is. Looking at the Google Earth.
Well, I did it from the lighthouse that we can document in the evidence.
Oh, I went. Okay, I went to the peak. Okay, oh well, no, actually that should be less then, shouldn't it? Let me have a look at this. What's the measurement on my thing? It says it's 38.9 miles, 62.6. Okay, 62.6 kilometers. Okay, it's slightly more than I said, by half a kilometer. Okay, 62. 600. Oh, but I'm actually going to the mountain peak. So in fact, it's actually quite a bit closer. It's it's the width of the island. So I'll put it in the given right. So that gives me a vertical geometric obscured, which means basically we're going to pretend there's no atmosphere. And of course, we know we have an atmosphere, and we know refraction is a thing. But for Anthony's sake, for him, for no other reason, nothing to do with reality. The geometric is 273 meters. So even geometrically, if you pretend there's no atmosphere, we've got a vacuum, we're on the moon or something, it's still visible because the peak is 320 meters. That still leaves 50 meters.
Whoa.
That's 900 feet then. So hold on, Anthony. That's 900 feet missing, right?
Well, it's 50. There's 50 meters bigger, but that's not including refraction.
895 feet missing, right? Geometrically obscured, 900 feet, correct, Rumpus?
Well, it's 273 meters. Which
is 895 feet missing, obscured.
What was the value you said?
273 meters geometrically, for 1 meter.
1,100.
Right, so 900 feet of the mountain still gone. 900 feet missing.
That's in a vacuum, Nathan. We don't live in a vacuum.
Sorry, nothing to do with vacuums and everything to do with how much of Earth is physically obscuring that mountain.
Stop, we're jumping.
Hold on, I can't hear you, Nate. You and Anthony, we're talking over one another.
Well, I'll just say it again. We're talking about how much of Earth physically obscures that mountain. 900 feet is physically obscured by Earth.
Not only in a vacuum, Anthony.
Not in a vacuum. Physically obscured, 900 feet, according to your presuppositional mathematics, Rumpus.
At this point, we're talking about a vacuum, okay?
Yeah, so it's irrelevant to the reality, but we can talk about it. It's irrelevant.
Right, yeah. Hang on, but I want to get to the point where we decide whether the mountain is gone in a vacuum or not, okay?
It's
and
not.
I asked you the question. Right, hang on, you've only done half of it, though. What's the effect on the bulge? What value do you get for the bulge, and what's the effect?
The bulge value. Let me have a look what that is. Let me show you a diagram as to why your obsession with bulge is completely irrelevant.
No, answer the question. What value do you get for the bulge, and what's the effect on the obstruction?
The effect on the obstruction is 900 feet is obscured. That's the effect.
No.
Yes.
The bulge has what's the value for the bulge?
I haven't I haven't got my little calculator here.
So you've just conceded. 900 feet is obscured by the Earth. That's what I just asserted.
Only in a vacuum. And
Not in a vacuum. Why do you keep saying in a vacuum? Because you're going to claim this presupposition that light's bending around the curve of the Earth. I don't give a crap about your presuppositional refraction nonsense. Fact, according to your religion, with an Earth that is spherical, you have 900 feet of this mountain obscured. Obviously in complete contradiction to what we actually see in the photography. Now, I don't care if you like that. That's just your crappy maths that doesn't work. There isn't 900 feet obscured. Now, while you might be able to bring it down to 800 feet obscured, that's not what we see in the images, Rumpus. That's not what we see, though, is it?
761.
Right, so 761 feet obscured. Well, that's not what we see of the 1,000+ foot mountain, is it? 2/3 of it isn't missing. It's complete nonsense. So it doesn't match reality. Your maths fails on its arse. It doesn't represent this picture. So, Rumpus, your maths is a complete failure to represent reality. You don't have to like this.
With reality. Al K's video affirms the spherical Earth.
No, it doesn't. It confirms how flat it is. Shows how obviously and observably flat the world is. Just saying it doesn't mean anything, Rumpus, right? Your presuppositional maths has just completely failed, and all you can do is assert that it proves it, with absolutely nothing to back it up. Your maths has failed. Doesn't prove a damn thing anyway. It's based on a presuppositional value of R, which you've got no scientific evidence of whatsoever. But the bottom line here is it doesn't match reality, does it?
Surveyors use it. It's an objective, measurable, verifiable fact.
No, it isn't. It's just some bullshit that you've made up. Yeah? Matched it up with the observations of perspective, maybe. Doesn't prove the Earth's a sphere. And it's not scientifically validated in any way, shape or form. That little distraction can wait though, Rumpus. Yeah? Based on your begging the question and using the R value, there's a bottom line here. It doesn't match the picture. 700 feet, 900 feet, who cares? Doesn't matter. That's not what we see, is it now, Rumpus? Not what we see at all.
In reality, Nathan, civil engineers use this all the time.
Do they?
And the image we've got
what evidence
on our
do you have?
confirms the spherical.
Sorry, what evidence do you have that civil engineers use the radius value?
Okay, I can give you a link here. If you give me a moment, I'll share the screen with a actual reference to that. If you just give me a moment, I'll put it in my document here.
No, it doesn't, Rumpus. You're lying.
No, actually, if you start calling me a liar, I'll come over there and punch you in the face.
Right.
I'm not lying about anything.
Can I speak with Rumpus again, Nate, please?
Yeah,
Rumpus.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you are lying. I'm going to show it. First part dealt with. We had a drop value or a hidden value of, without any atmosphere, we had a hidden value of, what was the value? Was it, you'll have to, what was the number you said, Rumpus?
Right, value for 1 meter height at 62.6 kilometers, the geometric in a vacuum, which we don't have, is 273 meters or 897 feet, nearly 900 feet. So that's geometric, but absolutely irrelevant to the real world because, of course, refraction exists in the real world.
So now what's the refraction? Hold on. What's the refraction value then? 700 feet, right?
761 feet with the
and does that match the picture? Does that match the picture, Rumpus?
Yes, we're not there yet, Nate. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. There is a second part
in the
to
slightest.
this.
Okay.
There's a second part to this. What value do you have for the bulge, please, Rumpus?
The value I've given you for the obscured includes all the things you need to understand to end up with a hidden value. The fact that I haven't got
700 feet.
Okay, well,
700 feet doesn't match the picture, Rumpus. I keep saying it. Doesn't match it. Just saying it
does
isn't an argument. It doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't. That's not an argument, mate. You're embarrassing yourself. Yeah. You can just say it does. Yeah, you can just say it does, but it doesn't. It doesn't, Rumpus.
He thinks the second image, which he thinks is the whole island, isn't. It's only the top third. He's misunderstood whether he thinks, because in the first image of the lighthouse he's got, he's then not able to match that against the shape of the other one. He's got he's got misunderstood the bloody pictures. It's incredible.
Oh, it's his misunderstanding, is it? Well, the pictures have been on screen plenty. The audience can make their own decisions in that regard, Rumpus. So you can assert that he's misunderstood, but yeah, that ain't going to wash, mate.
We'll go through it. I'll go through it with the pictures in a second, but let's deal with one thing at a time. I'll demonstrate that
one thing at a time.
Excellent. Let's start with the scientific proof of R.
We haven't got there yet, Nate. We're not at the scientific proof of R yet. There is something called the bulge that's part of the obstruction, and I want Rumpus to tell us what value it is and tell us what the effect is.
Yeah, that bulge is based on a radius value, Anthony. That bulge is based on a radius value, Anthony.
It is based on the radius value.
Right.
Yes,
so just before you just tell me that R isn't relevant, and I'm asking him for scientific proof, and you're saying before that comes the bulge. Well, no, sir. Radius comes first now, doesn't it?
Yeah, our model is a spherical Earth.
Let's hear the scientific evidence for it. We'll start with the observed phenomenon that was done when we did an experiment.
Okay, we have pictures of it.
We have. Let's not tell us what pictures. Listen, dumbass. Listen very closely to my question, retard. What was the observed phenomenon in the experiment to prove the radius? Let's start with the observed phenomenon. Off you go, Rumpus.
The observed phenomenon is the shape of the Earth in a photograph.
The shape of the Earth in a photograph, that's a concrete noun, not a phenomenon. What part of retard are you? Do you understand what a phenomenon is? What kind of a moron are you? Phenomenon. What was the phenomenon? Photograph of Earth, that's not a phenomenon, moron.
Perfectly happy to be a concrete noun, Nathan.
Moron. Phenomena is not a concrete noun. Something happening. That's what a phenomena is, you idiot. You complete moron.
Concrete. call it, and that is a perfectly fine thing. You seem to think it's going to be so dynamic.
No, wrong, Rumpus. You can't have a phenomena without something happening now, can you?
You think the study
That's what a
of trees
phenomena
is.
is, you moron.
Do you think the structure...
Is it because you don't have one, Rumpus? Is that the problem here? You can't actually give us a sound, valid scientific hypothesis. Is that the problem?
Study worthy of science.
Is that the problem here, Rumpus? You can't do it. Is that the problem? You can obfuscate round this as much as you like while I laugh at you. You don't have scientific proof of R, do you now, Rumpus? You can't even formulate an observation correctly. I ask what the phenomenon is, you say a picture of Earth. What an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment to the science community, Rumpus.
Nathan, we've got geodetic surveys of the Earth. You can go out and
geodetic surveys, excellent. What's the observed phenomenon?
There are lots of different ways. Well,
what's the observed phenomenon in this scientific geodetic survey?
Okay, to be conducting an experiment with a theodolite, the observed phenomenon will be the angle of the dip.
The angle of the dip is not a phenomenon, you stupid moron. What's the phenomenon? What's happening? Do you understand what a phenomenon is, Rumpus? It seems like you don't. It seems like you're retarded. It seems like you're an embarrassment to all of the people who claim to believe the Earth is a sphere and look up to you. Like Dawn. You're letting Dawn down here. You know, these people that look up to you and sheep around after you. You're embarrassing, Rumpus. Don't you even understand what a phenomenon is? What's wrong with you, man? You're an embarrassment to the scientific community and you're an embarrassment to yourself. That's all you are. A massive, massive, massive embarrassment. You should feel ashamed, a bit like Charles. Just coming here and asserting that you can look at things like pictures and then do scientific experiments on them. You're an idiot. You are a complete buffoon.
Dependent variable is the dip angle.
That's not... You just said it was your phenomenon.
Yeah, but it's the...
Yabba. You just told me it was your phenomenon and now you're telling me it's the dependent variable. Man, you really are an embarrassment to science.
Dip angle is the dependent variable. Yes, okay, I got that. But it's just... You're so...
You got that what? Wrong because you're a... moron. Yes, I've just said it multiple times. You're an embarrassment, Rumpus. You got it wrong because you're an idiot. You understand that, dickhead? You are an embarrassment, Rumpus.
No, Nathan, you're the embarrassment. You deny.
Oh, really? I'm the embarrassment now, mate. I'm sitting here laughing at you because you are, quite literally, a retard. Yeah, you got it wrong because you're stupid. You got it wrong because there is no scientific proof of R. You got it wrong because you are a moron. And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for tuning in, for making this debate possible, and also a massive thank you to all of the audience for tuning in. If you hated this show, you know what to do, but if you liked it, consider sharing it. Maybe subscribing if you haven't done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!